am live, 3 hours. We are back. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. Alex Jones entering the studio as we speak. We're going to get
adjusting your camera there, Nate.
We're going to get to the Bohemian Grove stuff in the next hour. I've got some footage from the club. It's pretty funny. They have the club there, and everybody's seen the two plaques, the plaque that's above and on the side, but what they haven't seen is the architecture on the sides of the building.
They got a plaque of throwing babies in fires.
It's pretty bad, Alex. Actually, it's a couple, it looks like Greek, but we're going to show you the video. I've got plenty of video of that. And then on top of that, in between the days that we were down doing just massive interviews in California all over, I can't tell you how busy I've been in the past 7 days, almost no downtime. But in between the G. Edward Griffin and Rosalind Peterson interviews, we actually went to Hearst Castle as well, a member of the Bohemian Club, and got a ton of footage. You won't believe the occultic stuff we're going to be showing you in the next hour. Now, I want to shift gears. I want to get into this swine flu because this is something that's been really close to my heart. The last time that I left the state, it was for a wedding in New York. A lot of my friends have become teachers. Their family members are administrators, nurses in schools, the local town lawyer, board members. And all I could tell them was, listen, they are going to have a big push for this swine flu vaccination, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 shots they demand you take. And I was demanding that they not only not take the shot, but look into what's in the shot and stop it from coming into the schools. Oh, Jason, it'll never come into the schools. Catherine Sebelius, months and months and months ago, I think it was almost 2 months ago, openly stated that they were going to make the schools the mass vaccination center. So they would go after the kids first and then their parents when they came to pick them up. Now in Canada, again, this is something we've been talking about for quite some time. In Canada, not only are they doing that, but they're worried about the 18 to 30 crowd. How are we going to get the 18 to 30 crowd to take this shot? Well, they came up with an ingenious plan. We'll set up vaccination centers outside of bars while people are getting drunk on weekends. That's what we'll do. So, obviously, it would be extremely dangerous to take a shot of any sort when your blood is thinned and you're under the influence of alcohol, but that doesn't stop them. They want to inoculate everybody. We've done the reporting, folks. They openly stated they had 4.9 billion vaccinations worldwide. Let me say that again. 4.9 billion vaccinations worldwide ready to go. And I believe the latest numbers in the United States are somewhere around 198 million. Let me say it again. 198 million. So let's go by the consensus that there's about 300 million people. That's 2 out of every 3 people in the United States they're ready and geared up for. And don't worry, they want to get 3 out of 3. That's everybody. And we're going to play clips. We'll show you the Meredith Vieira clip on the Today Show where she actually states that the Obama administration doesn't want you to take 1, doesn't want you to take 2. They want you to take 3 shots for this swine flu. And then you hear the rhetoric from the Obama administration and Obama himself, and it sounds exactly like what the Ford administration was saying back in the 70s. In fact, we're also going to be playing you that clip from 1979, 3 years after they gave out this vaccination, where they have to admit they made people into quadriplegics, they killed people, they had to settle out of court for the same type of illness, the swine flu. Did the piggy flu run wild then? No, it didn't. But a lot of people had to give up their lives and their mobility. I'd almost rather be dead than a quadriplegic, folks. I'm serious. Can you imagine being 110% healthy? You take a shot, then about 2 weeks later, your legs start to go numb, your arm starts to go numb. And, I don't know what happened with this woman that's displayed in this 1979 60 Minutes piece. But even with her recovery, she had braces on her legs as she had to walk around. And you could tell that her facial movement wasn't quite the same. Is that what you want to do to yourself, your children, your grandchildren, your brothers, your sisters, humanity in general, for something that's probably no worse than the average flu that you don't have much of a chance of getting anyway? It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. We're going to be back after this. We're streaming live right now at prisonplanet.tv and Infowars.com.
Finally in the news this evening, it's being reported that cyber spies from Russia and China have now penetrated our power grid. Even as energy experts are reporting that each summer we get closer and closer to the limits of our nation's power grid, some say that this summer's demand for electrical power may finally push the grid over its edge, creating a cascade of power outages across the country, putting us all in the dark.
Are you prepared for the next round of storm-related outages or government-created blackouts? Have you ever thought about taking taking steps to get off the grid and generate your own private supply of electrical power? If so, this will be the most important information you have ever heard. Solar-powered generators are finally available. They have no moving parts to wear out or break and require absolutely no gas whatsoever. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Check out mysolarbackup.com before you lose your power.
Gotta make a plan, gotta do what's right. Can't run around in circles if you wanna build a life. But I don't wanna make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and while I'm able, all I wanna do is...
All right, folks, we are back live. And let me preface this. We're going to play a small portion of this 60 Minutes clip with George Wallace. I think it's George Wallace. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm almost sure it's George Wallace. Where it takes 3 years. And remember, this is back in the day, in the 70s, when you only really had 3 networks, the big 3, NBC, ABC, and CBS. And it took 3 years. Let me repeat that. 3 years for one news piece. 3 years, one news piece, telling you how awful this swine flu shot was back in the day. And let's not forget that the company that they're giving the contracts to make the swine flu vaccine right now is Baxter. And Baxter are the ones that got caught in February sending out live H1N1, 2 different strains of H1N1, that's the bird flu virus, and 1 live strain of the human flu inside a supposed vaccination for H1N1 or bird flu. Now remember, this piggy flu, this swine flu, isn't really swine flu. It's a 3 type of flu amalgamation. It is 2 parts swine flu, H5N1. It is 1 part H1N1, which is bird flu, and it is 1 part human flu as well. Very mysterious. Is that what you want to put in your body? They sent it out to 14 countries. They started testing it on ferrets and animals, and it killed them. And that's a mainline news. And those are the people that are making the vaccine for you and yours. I mean, soldiers died from the shot. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I was out meeting one of my buddies back from New York. He works out in California. He came out to Texas to do a job. And we were discussing things, and one of his friends that moved up here, one of my buddy's friends, is discussing how her father was in the military, refused to take the swine flu shot because a bunch of his unit had died from taking it. Did you just hear? Someone died from taking the shot. The other woman's lips are still partially paralyzed. She has braces on her legs, and she had to go through 6 months as a quadriplegic. And guess what? She was one of the lucky ones. So you're going to take this shot? It may only do it to 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 50, and they'll cover it up in the media, and they'll tell you everything's just fine, because that's how these monsters roll. I want to read a little bit of this. Flu pandemic, mass graves, and martial law. It's up over at prisonplanet.com and infowars.com by the great staff, Kurt Nemo. On March 25th, Shepard and Bellis, reporting for InfoWars, documented a preparation of mass graves at the Department of Veterans Affairs Cemetery in Phoenix, Arizona. And Bellis' story followed a harrowing report by D.H. Williams of the Daily Newscaster in February. Williams reported on the revelations of an Indiana County municipal official in the vicinity of Chicago who detailed FEMA and DHS discussions with county officials about the prospect of mass graves and a mass vaccination program. Now, while I was out at the hotels and flipping through the channels, I finally got to see this new show on the Discovery Channel. I didn't get to watch more than 10 minutes of it because I was busy and I was running around, and we were trying to get some food, or we were trying to get a shot, or we were trying to get a time lapse on the sunset. But I was shocked to see that basically these people are in some kind of a quarantined, war zone type area where there's no food anywhere and everybody is hostile towards one another. They're in, I want to say it's some kind of a factory. I don't even know how to describe it. There's a group of people in the factory, and then there's other people who are on the road, and all they're doing is trying to find food. And, the guys have baseball bats. They don't have firearms, I've noticed. That's a little odd. No one has any firearms. But it's just very bizarre. I'm not sure how it works, what kind of a lot they are shooting this on. It looks like reality television, but talk about predictive programming. It disturbed me. It disturbed me a lot. Let me continue with this article. On March 28th, we reported on a large expansion of graves at the Houston National Cemetery in Texas. Aaron Dykes, reporting for the Jones Report on April 3rd, detailed how the State of New York Division of Cemeteries sent out mass fatality forms to cemeteries in that state to collect data about their ability to deal with a high volume of casualties that would occur if there were a flu pandemic or other disaster. And that was a 2007 document. And I do believe that it was 900 or 1,000 people per acre they were asking. If they had the room to put 900 to 1,000 people per acre. Per acre, folks. I mean, give me a break. What are they preparing for? And why are they so hell-bent? I mean, it's more than money, because they're going to profit enormously from this. You know, Baxter's going to make a lot of money. A lot of money. The pharmaceutical industry is going to make a lot of money on this. And then on top of that, with all the deaths and the sickness that it causes, the medical industry is going to make a lot of money off that as well.